All right, here's how you build up a little motion if you're trying to leave your hometown. I know a lot of you guys are young or, maybe even early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, mid 30s, whatever it may be. I think moving out of your hometown can apply to others a lot. It can apply to anyone, right? And one of the biggest things I can say from experience of moving out your hometown, you see the world in a different lens. You see the world bigger than you've ever seen before. Everyone that lives in their hometown only knows their hometown. They only know the same shit, the same bars, the same activities. Everything around you has always been normal because that's what you grew up around. The same people, people that you went to school with, people that you had acquaintance with, people that you knew from other schools, people that you may have worked with. That energy is all trapped within where you are from because that's all you've known for the past 10 years of 12 years or however long you stayed there. So getting out of your hometown breaks this mental barrier to show you like, yo, it's not just, okay, Michigan. I'm only Michigan. That's all I've ever known. It's like, oh, there's so much more out there. And once you experience that, it's like when you go out on vacation for the first time or you're at a new country and you're like, oh shit, I do not want to go back home. It's because you have mentally broken that mental barrier just for the time being of going to somewhere new to say, whoa, this life is completely different from what I'm used to back home. And the reason why it's extremely different is simply because everything that you experience from the vacation side, you see water, you see new people, you see the way people move, you surround yourself around things that you're not familiar with consciously. Subconsciously, you're like, okay, this is completely new. We can't get comfortable here because this is not us. So if we were ever asked, hey, someone came up to us like, yo, you want to move here? You're probably going to say no because you're so used to knowing what subconsciously back home, what that's like. But here's the thing, right? It's like when you see that and you experience that, you're like, oh shit, like this could be the life. Like this is interesting. I like this. And you think back, once you're back on that plane, you're like, oh, I'm back here. It's simply because you finally open up your mind to say like, yo, there's other things outside of Michigan that I've just experienced and I want to see more of that. So, here's the thing, right? A lot of people want to do that and some people want to move out their hometown, but they set the limitation to themselves mentally that they can't. Here's the reality of it, right? You play the cards that you were dealt. When I first moved out of my hometown, right, I got my first apartment in where I was in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, and I got my first apartment in Ohio at 19, 18. Dropped out of college, came from a mom of 3 boys, never was raised around money, had 20 plus jobs before I was even 18. So a lot of it came from me wanting to support my mom, me having to grow up young and things like that. And gradually, as I'm finally learning how to become independent, when my mom and them, dad, stepdad lost the house. That's a whole nother story. I had to either make the decision that I'm going to go live with my mom or I'm going to just figure this shit out and put myself out there and do it. And that's exactly what I did. Ended up signing on a lease for about 14 months. Had, I think, 2K to my name and I pulled the trigger. That's all. And I was just like, you know what? I'll figure this shit out. Next month, I went on to do about 40 grand because I trusted myself. I knew what I could do. I knew what I was capable of doing. I seen a mom raise three boys on her own. So I knew shit couldn't phase me. That was the reality of it because, like, I'm not giving up anytime soon. I don't plan on giving up. And my mom never gave up on me. She made me who I am today and the man that I am today. So why the fuck would I give up? Sorry. But that was the reality of it, right? So once I went through all that and I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here, let me lock in because, first off, I think that's the first step, moving out on your own. It's either you move out on your own or you move to a new state completely new, right? You're going to be more familiar with what you already know. So I took it step by step. I didn't instantly think I wanted to get out of Ohio, but a part of me knew like eventually I would. So ran it up 14 months, of course. And this is the thing, maybe you're not in the position where you can financially make that decision. This is terrible financial advice. Like I would never tell somebody to move out with 2 grand in their name, but I trust myself. Like that's just who I am. I know myself, I'm in tune with myself, so I know what I can do, I know what I'm capable of doing. But let's say you're at home, you want to move out of your hometown instantly, right? Play the cards that you're dealt. Join communities, right? That's the biggest thing that I tell people. If you can't move out right now, play the cards that you're dealt. Surround yourself around like-minded people because the reality of it is you can't find those like-minded people around your area. Maybe you can, maybe they're hidden some different places because there's always entrepreneurs in a way or someone that thinks like you in a way that is out there in your hometown, but you may have never just met them. But you're so comfortable with everyone around you. No one sees past high school. Everyone's doing the same shit. Everyone's still going to the same bar. So you almost feel as if you're isolated within them. But you kind of aren't, only mentally if you tell yourself that. And that's the limitation that a lot of people place on themselves. So consciously join communities, get around people that are in the same position like, yo, hey, I want to move out too, dude, but we're in this community. Let's just chop it up. Let's try to build something so we can do this together. And even then you may come together. You may meet best friends online. I met some of my bestest friends online from joining communities, being in spirits of like, we got this thing called Money Twitter where there are guys from 14 all the way up to 30 making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and I got surrounded around that. And the next thing you know, I meet up with 5 dudes. We fucking fly to Mexico. Never met these dudes a day in my life, but we knew each other from online. Now we're all boys. And that's the reality of it, right? So you can surround yourself around those people, and there's more than just surrounding yourself. Be active in the chats, listen to the calls, execute the information, invest into yourself. I would never got where I am if I never took the leap to invest into myself, right? Everyone's like, oh, courses are scams, but the reality of it is there are very, very good programs and courses out there. And even then, there's always good information that you're gonna learn and take away, even if you didn't feel as if the coaches or the program didn't provide what you thought it would provide. But you would be in a better position, better than where you were before, and that's the reality of it. But people don't see it that way. You gotta look at everything from a perspective lens, right? So from that being the case, focus on just building community and being around those people. And then once you get a little motion up with the group and then you're making money, dude, bounce. And that's what I did. After my lease in Ohio, I bounced with my twin brother, my other best friend, and my other best friend. And I grabbed all of them. I'm like, yo, y'all come with me. Let's run it. Let's get the fuck out of here. We moved to Texas. We did about 4 months in Texas just because we didn't want to fully commit. 4 months, bro. We seen everything. Texas is amazing. We lived in Dallas. We had an Airbnb. We lived it up, and then we came back here. And then now, every time I come back to Ohio, I'm just like, oh, fuck this. But I know I'm here for a good time, not a long one. I'm coming to see my people. I'm going to see my boys. I'm coming to see my mom. You know, everything. You know, checking in, doing what I do because I can move around and travel because what I do allows me to do that. So from there, of course, I'm like, okay, Texas was dope, like huge, big state. I love it. I can see myself living here again. All right, come back, boom, kind of sit at the mom's crib, kind of got a little comfortable, bounce, moved again, moved to Toronto for a bit. Impulsively, one night was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm too comfortable. Bounced to Toronto for a month. Why? Because, my job content allows me to do it. Exactly what I teach on my channel. That allows me to live this life. Bounced to Toronto, went to Charleston for a bit, went to Costa Rica for a bit, lived in Florida for a bit, lived in Nashville for a bit. So just bouncing around different spots, but I don't want to commit and lay down anywhere yet because I'm young, I'm only 22. And there's so much to see in this world. So I'm not about to commit anytime soon in terms of settling down. So I'm gonna see this world, and then when I'm ready to sit down, I'm gonna sit down. But that's the reality of it. Like if you start off what you got, you play the cards that you got, right? You surround yourself around motherfuckers that want to do it too, and even then you come together. Like I got students in my program that are now my boys that paid me to get into my program. They build up their motion from being around me in the group, 10K first month, 20K first month. They buy their first car. Couple of them move in with me. We moved in together type shit. So it's like little stuff like that. Like I look at my community as not just students, of people of mine, a family of people that I can call and talk to and shit like that. And they can call me for advice and look at me as a friend versus just, yo, this is transactional. No, because I know what I do. I trust in what I do. I trust in my skill because it's got me to where I am. Like straight up, that's what it is. So yeah, that's how you build up that motion. Like, do what you can do. And then when you got enough to do what you want to do, bounce. And then from there, you'll realize and see how your mind opens up. And then you start surrounding yourself around more and more people. Then you just start turning the fuck up. Then you look back and you realize when you come back home, nothing changes because that's the reality. None of that shit changed. When you're stuck in the spears of all you know in terms of comfortability, it will forever stay like that until you break that mental barrier. There's know that, listen, most people in the hometown look at life like this. Like, this is the hometown blinders. But sometimes motherfuckers kind of open the blind and was like, shit, there's more out there. And then they start peeking, then they get out. Then they get out of there and they see, they're like, oh shit. And then they look back at the hometown, they're like, nah, I like this life over here because there's more. But yeah, hope you guys like that. I just love just spitting that fucking game. That was real game right there. But see you guys in the next video. Bye.